Okay, hello, hello, hello. Water walk. Number, what the hell it is, I don't know. Okay, so, where are we? Look, I've got my Ma Home on. My Ma Home. It's indigo. Traditional indigo shirt made in prayer. Yeah. Oh, Jesus, what the hell happened? I'm a little bit far. Maybe I should come in a little closer if I can. See how that works. Because every time I yank the mic... will that do? Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. That'll do. Okay. Hey, how's it going? Oh! Someone blocked the pipe. Oh, I think they... Oh, I don't know why they did that. Probably... See, there's a valve here that I put in, and someone's shut it off. I guess I should just leave it that way. You know what? I'm gonna... Where are we now? Oops. It's a little bit light, I think. Let's see how that works. Is that better? I think so. The umbrella was all white. Anyway, yeah, so I see this cut off here. And now I'm wondering, who did that? And did they do it on purpose? Because I didn't. There's a valve like right here, right? You can't see it. But sometimes I'll do it. If the flow is really slow, it just helps this tappy thing flow better, right? But on my way up, I saw they made a little concrete platform and brought up one of those huge plastic... Actually, maybe I'll do a video on the way back. A huge plastic water container. It's like they have them lower down too. So they might have shut this off because they're going to connect the pipe to that, and so don't want water flowing through. And this is probably the only valve, actually. Probably the only valve from here to there. Lucky thing I put it in, eh? See? Helping out. Community helping out stuff. Yeah, okay. Now we'll clean this out. Oh, it's okay. It's just one pipe, so maybe it doesn't matter. I'll leave it as it is, though. I don't want to... You know, there might be someone working down there and all of a sudden a big gush of water comes through. It's fine, it's fine. The water's so clear. The water coming to my house, which is kind of from the same pipes as I've said before, is brown mostly. You know, it's just silt, right? Like I see pictures of in North America. Anyway, I don't want to get into that again. Like people with a glass of brown water, I'm like, yeah, welcome to my world. Anyway, it's clean, it's just silty, right? And, you know, like my grandmother said, you gotta eat a peck of dirt before you die. So, it's easily done with brown water, I guess. Maybe it helps to scour the intestines. Maybe a bit of brown water is excellent to help keep the intestinal flora intact. Do you know? Like maybe the intestinal flora... Oh, look, we got some nice soil coming through. Isn't that nice? We're so fed up with this chlorinated crap that kills us all. Anyway, I don't know what the intestinal flora actually say to each other. It'd be hard to figure out the language that they would speak, I think. I mean, it's in us, so you'd think we'd have ready access to learning, but no. It's not how it goes. Oh, you know what I'm doing? This is dumb. Oh well. Usually I fill the jug up here and then fill it up with this, but I'm going right from the beginning. Ugh. Anyway, whatever. I'm thinking. Like, you know, when I do these walks, mostly I think my main, what's the word, purpose, my main motivation is, I don't know, it's just fun to do and stuff. Is my face better? Fun to do, and I love to show this place, right? And I'm thinking, it's always on like social media stuff, right? Like YouTube and Facebook. Not so sure about, YouTube's great, I think. Anyway, we all know about Facebook and how, I don't know. Anyway, mostly I just like to say, oh, it's so beautiful, you know? And also, I guess a part of it is like about water and the essential nature of it. We all need it. We all need a lot of it too. Not just us humans, but us animals and all living things, pretty much, I suppose. There might be some that don't need it, and then there's others that need it around all the time. Like a fish, for instance, needs a fair bit of water, right? I would say. If I was a fish, I would like to have a lot of water around me. Yeah. So anyway, so there's meditation on water. So quite often my frustrations with the North American, everyone has a right to clean water dialogue bugs me. I mean, I'm not saying it's not true exactly. I'm just saying, I just go on and on about it, right? But I'm just saying that when people say that, what they mean is clean water chlorinated out of a tap. Right? That's what people are saying. That's what I think is what's meant. Oh, jeez, it's rain is gonna come today. Lucky I got up here and it hasn't been raining. Anyway, so there's that about the water. So there's an onward and constant meditation on water, right? But I was thinking, because I don't want to give advice, right? That just seems like, who am I to give advice about stuff? But sometimes people say, oh, well, what can we do? I don't know. Whatever. But something that's been on my mind, so maybe I'll just see if I can verbalize it, is this idea of comfort, right? What was I reading? It doesn't matter. But people's idea of comfort is too much, I think. People I don't want to do that. People complain. People do this. Whingy. I don't like to whinge. Don't want to. But here's the thing. Okay, I'll just go with my own experience, right? Around comfort. It's as simple as this. When you go from an unquote unquote uncomfortable state to one of real comfort, it's really easy. It's so easy. Especially if your life's been a bit physical and difficult, challenging, we'll say, right? Physically challenging. Oh, so great. But going the other way around, very difficult. So if you live your life in this, and kind of if a person, me, I don't want to point fingers. If I live a life of like complete comfort and whatever scenario that means, and then go to really rough living, it's really hard. For a while it's hard, and then you get used to it, and then it's no problem, in my experience, right? So my favorite example of that is on the first year. Okay, I'm going to tell a story about my long ride. So between the years 2011 and 2013, I did a long distance ride on horseback through the southern prairies, like Saskatchewan and Alberta. On my own. I didn't have a support vehicle or anything, but people helped me along the way, and also my friends Chris and Heidi and David and Chris and Lyle helped me too to prepare. So I prepared for at least 3 years before that, right? Okay, so that's the scenario. So in the first year, the first year was so much learning. The second year is so much easier, even though it was physically more difficult. Anyway, that's just the way that goes. So, okay, so first year, a huge storm is coming through. Like, I know a huge storm's coming, right? Like one of those 3-day torrential rain things that happens down there. Big winds and everything. And I happened to go, I stopped by a house on the corner of the prairie. And you have to imagine there's like houses like miles and miles and miles away from each other, maybe. But I stopped by a place. It's just a little place on the corner, and it wasn't, I don't know if the guy that lived there was a farmer anymore, but he had a little garden and stuff, so he just lived there out in the prairies. And I asked if there was somewhere where I could set up camp and stuff, and knowing that I'd need a few days to hide out, you know. And he said he couldn't do it there, right, which was obvious. And so he pointed me down to I'm not going to name names. Anyway, just to a big farm down the road, and it just happened to be one of the Grant Devine and Chantal Devine's place, and they were Grant Devine was the premier of Saskatchewan for a while. Anyway, they just lived down the road, so I went there and I met his ranch manager, which I can't remember the name of. He was amazing. Anyway, so we're walking down. So you have to imagine I'm camping out with the horses, trying to find water, going at that point not through a lot of grass, mostly farms, right? So I tend to camp out on old homesteads, which were abandoned, right? Because there was a lot of homesteads, a lot get abandoned, and what gets left is like houses half fallen down and barns not being used, maybe some silos that they still use, but there'd be patches of grass and quite often a slough, and a slough is like a pond, I guess you could call it. Anyway, so I often camped in those places, and they're great, and there's often trees too as a break and stuff. Anyway, so I'm coming down with my horses, I'm walking on the road, and the Grant's ranch manager comes up and says, and just, says hi. And I just say what I'm doing. And he must have seen me coming, because he got in his truck and came out to me. And I said, oh, I'm doing a long ride. I need to find somewhere to camp out because of this big storm coming. And all he did was just nod his head. No problem. Basically, yep, no problem. Classic, right? That's the kind of hospitality. Anyway, I camped out, put my tent up, and I had an open front tent, right? Anyway, it wasn't like a completely enclosed, and it was just flooding, and it was terrible. So then the ranch manager came the next day, and had the horses places and had some hay, and they were okay. And then the ranch manager came and said, oh, this is really bad. You can sleep in the bunkhouse in the main barn. And so I was able to then stretch all my stuff out in the barn to dry, because everything was completely soaked. And so I did that and slept there one night. Then I guess the next day Chantal came to say hello. And she looked where I was sleeping, and she says, oh, this is no good. So anyway, she says, listen, we have a guest house. Do you want to stay there? And I'm like, a guest house? Okay. What am I going to say, right? Anyway, it was beautiful. Kind of next door to their house. Beautiful. And, okay, I'm going to tell the full story. But the thing about comfort, right? So by then, riding with horses on your own is not comfortable, right? It's wonderful, but comfortable is not what it is. So I go into the house and bring my basic stuff, like my clothes and stuff in there, and I went to the kitchen, and it's like a kitchen, and I turned on the tap, right? I was just like, I just watched it run for a couple of minutes. I was like, wow, incredible. It's like, it felt like a miracle. See, what most people take for granted is like, wow, it's a miracle. Anyway, yeah. So that's kind of what I mean about comfort, right? Anyway, so then that day, Chantal said, "Oh, come for lunch. Come for lunch." So, and I'm dead skinny, right? I don't even know if I guess, I don't even know if at that point if I had even run into a shop to buy food at that point. I had food, you know, pemmican and stuff. Anyway, so we're sitting there eating, and she's just like bringing food, and I'm this is my memory. I don't know what the reality is, but I'm looking and going, and my sense was that, anyway, again, I don't know if this is what's going through their mind, but my memory of it is like Chantal's looking at me eat and going, as she goes over, she says, "Oh, Grant, you know, we have some salmon from yesterday we should get eaten up." So she brings out this big salmon. I'm like, no, 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 no. Anyway, and then I had a shower before that, and of course I hadn't had a shower. I did some bird bath stuff and sloughs and stuff. Anyway, it was awesome. And then the storm was actually quite long. I ended up staying, I can't remember how long, but I probably stayed in their house, that guest house, for 3 nights. You know, it was a bed and everything. My goodness. And then I continued on, but that moment of continuing on was really intense, right? It was intense because I knew that kind of discomfort was coming, but it was not just the discomfort. It was the idea of leaving this protected thing, right? And you know, I'm a person that loves not living in a protected thing. Like, that's my love. But even so, I still like, oh my God, I gotta go into the wilds. I was fine by the end of the day. But that moment of starting had this great trepidation and this very deep primal thing, right? And that stuff must go back to our very earliest times, maybe millions of years of the beginning of humans, and maybe beyond. I don't know. Anyway, it was really amazing on all sorts of levels. So anyway, it was going, that was when I really understood how going from just, and in the modern world, that would just be normal comfort. Nothing extravagant, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have people feeding me grapes and stuff. But going back was more difficult than going in. I mean, it sounds pretty obvious, I guess, but yeah, it was a pretty profound moment. So anyway, what's my point? I guess my point is sort of like, it's probably good to not get too comfortable. Like, who knows what's coming down, right? In terms of environmental stuff or climate, and it's all related, you know? But it's hard to know. I mean, I think I have a really good sense of what's coming down, but timing and all that stuff, right? So, I don't know. I'm hesitant to say, oh, I think you should do blah, blah. But maybe it's a good idea to put yourself in situations where you're not comfortable. And like, really not comfortable. Like, maybe, oh yeah, I had this friend I worked with in Banff in a hotel when it was first year I was there. He was from northern BC, right? Like a real northern BC. Anyway, he's like, oh yeah, when we were teenagers, we would try to find gay people and beat them. Anyway, I'm still laughing, it's not funny, but anyway, I should have just left that out. Anyway, but he was the coolest guy. He says, yeah, you know, I really think that parents should teach their children to go hungry, right? Probably because he and his brothers and sisters or whatever had at times had to go hungry, right? They hunted, you know, they're hunters and stuff. I mean, they weren't off in the bush, I don't think, but, you know. But anyway, he said, yeah, I think parents should teach their children to be hungry. I thought, oh, that's really smart. I had a good chat up with him about that, and I agreed with him. Yeah, because there's a really extreme example of discomfort, right? I mean, food nourishes us and gives us energy, but it also nourishes our spirit, right? Like, it keeps us, it's an emotional, it's all kind of connected with community and all sorts of things, right? So, when we have to go hungry, I'm not talking about a fast, right? It's a different thing completely. But when you have to go hungry because you have no money, no food, right? You go, okay, I have 2 days. I have to get through these next 2 days, then I'll have some money or I can get some food or something, right? That's a different thing. It's a really different thing, I think. But I think that his point was that we need to understand that, oh, we can actually go a few days with no food and it's not the end of the world, right? I think most of the big problem that people might have with that is the panic that comes from it, you know? So if you can go, oh yeah, I've done this before, no problem. You know? I think it's really, yeah. Yeah, anyway, so I guess that's my little diatribe on comfort. Speaking of comfort, I better get going soon because it's gonna rain, I think, sometime soon. And it's really not comfortable walking down with 20 kilos of stuff on your back down a slippery trail. I find that extremely uncomfortable. Okay. Oh, okay. One thing I wanted to say that I say a lot here, 22 minutes, my God, is that I love where I live now. I'm so lucky. I hope anyway, who knows how long and all that, right? But I love it because for me, it's very comfortable, right? But in a modern context, it's not comfortable. And I love that. I love that it can be not completely just easy, right? Because I always want to have a hand in that discomfort. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like I've got a really nice balance. Maybe the best balance I've ever had in my life in terms of that kind of thing. Anyway, enough. I'm gonna film a bit walking because I want to show you that tank. Okay, thanks for listening. Oh yeah, I think so. Wait for a sec. Continuing on. Okay. Oh, my quads are so sore. We're doing with the kids. I was teaching them kata number 7. They don't need to know it. None of them, because you don't need to know that one till like second dan or something. But it was really fun. I said, let's learn the 7th kata. It includes like a do cut like to the waist, you know, where you go down on one knee. Anyway, they had a blast. You know, because they're so, Oh yeah, okay, I'll get back to Kendo in a sec. Okay, so this is the tank they're building, they put in. So keep in mind, that's a big tank, right? You think they drove it up here? Nope! They carried it up here. This is the trail this is the trail they brought it up. And they brought it, I can see they've cleared away a little bit, but not much. It's not too far, it's about halfway to where I go, but nonetheless, it's a pretty big tank. They're probably not too heavy, let's see. Oh yeah, they're not that heavy, but big, right? So they dragged that up there. Let's see if we can see. Well, there's dirt here, so they might have, but not really scraped though. They must have lifted it the whole way. Anyway, so, I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but I imagine this pipe, which is the pipe that comes off the spring that I go to, they'll cut that, they'll put that thing on that concrete platform they've just built, and they'll feed the pipe into that, and then it'll continue on to the other big tanks down below, and that will bring water. Of that going on, I've noticed up in the higher parts of the village too. I've seen more cisterns, not cisterns, tanks and stuff. There's a lot of homestays now, a lot more people coming up to visit, so I guess that's why they need to do that. Yeah, so just to keep water going. At the moment, the water's been kind of cutting off. Like the end of the day, it's really low flow, you know. But we had a holiday last week, Buddhist Lent, so a lot of people were coming up here to visit. And anyway, I don't know. People come up. They don't go off the road. They beautiful little cafes and stuff, and then they go home. Or they stay overnight and stuff. But no, I never see anyone up on these trails other than locals, and even then it's rare. Okay, so that's that, eh? Yeah, well, I don't know. A little bit different. This one talking about comfort and stuff, but at least I got to tell a story about my long ride. And I'm a little bit excited actually. My brother was in Canada and he brought over. I have some stuff at a friend's place near Pincher Creek, and need to get rid of it. So hey, if anyone's coming over from Canada and want to help me out by carrying some bags or something, I have a few more things at their place that I need to bring over. But I can't afford to have them shipped, right? So anyway, if anyone's coming over and wants to volunteer to bring a bag over, just let me know, I guess. Anyway, yeah, so my brother brought over a box that has my saddle in it and all my various leather things. A lot of it I made stuff out of deer skin and tanned the deer skin and stuff myself, and so it's gonna be really nice to have that in here. Put it in my dry room, of course. Anyway, so yeah, so there you go. It's a bit got to talk about my long ride and switch. I love this part, and about comfort a bit, and I don't know. I guess the thing is, Bjork. I'm not a really big fan of Bjork, but she did just write this song, this line about addiction to comfort or something. I wish I could. I'll look it up and maybe paste it below or something. The line. Yeah, it was a great line. I'll look it up for sure. Anyway, yeah. But being uncomfortable is not so bad, actually. And once you get used to it, it's really nice, actually. I think we're made for hardship, you know? I think as humans, we're kind of physically built to have like a difficult time, maybe. Physically difficult. I mean, you kind of, emotionally we get it it's easy to get everywhere. Physically, yeah, some people have physical challenges. Lots of challenges, actually. People get diseases and things and injuries. But not like it used to be, I don't think. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. This is a little bit funny, this one, but we'll see how it goes. Probably put it up. Okay, ciao. Hope everyone's doing great, and see you on the flip side. À la prochaine.